Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, Erin. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderfully. Another Hanging with Hero. I'm really
I
excited for tonight.
know.
Yeah,
This is one I've been looking forward to.
me too. Me too. We've got a crafty friend for you tonight who we're both,
Yep.
Jennifer and I, longtime friends with. Very
Yep.
excited about the first people that we invited to join Hanging with Hero, and due to scheduling, now we're finally here on the day. I won't
Yep.
quite reveal who she is. Of course, you know. But we will do a little bit of preamble to set up the discussion
Okay.
before we introduce her on. Yeah, man, it's been a busy week for Hero Arts. We launched our holiday catalog last week. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, please go and see it at heroarts.com or Simon Says
Yeah.
Stamps.com. Jennifer did a beautiful video using our products last Friday, so you should definitely check that out. And next
Thank
week,
you.
by the way, is our Hero Studio kit launch on a Tuesday instead of a Monday due to Labor Day. And I won't tell you the theme, Halloween. So be sure to tune in. You can still subscribe through September 1. Otherwise, you
Nice.
can come on the 3rd and see the whole release as you like. Thank you all for joining us tonight on a Wednesday night. It's wonderful to see everybody in the comments. I see some new people joining us. Thank you so much for joining. We'd love to see you. And of course, I see a number of people who have joined us for a number of episodes, maybe even all of
Yep.
them. This is our
Yeah.
11th episode. And man, I don't. When do you think we're going to stop, Jennifer? There's too
When
many.
people get tired of hearing us, I guess.
True.
Or maybe
Yes.
after that. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. Hopefully, we know when that time is. No,
Hopefully.
there's so
Hopefully.
many great guests. There's so much joy in this industry and
Yeah.
just wonderful personalities. I think that we're not even close to exhausting our list.
Nope.
Although, like I said, tonight is one of the guests that we most wanted to talk to from the start. And so I'm so glad we're here. Let me set the stage. Hanging with Hero, we've taken a long walk through history, starting back in 1974 when my mother founded Hero Arts. So it's 50 years this year. My wife Laura and I continue to run the company. It's running strong, and we're excited to really talk about that history. Because not only was Hero Arts born 50 years ago, but really the decorative stamp industry and paper crafting the way we know it today. There just wasn't an industry back then. The products that we know today just weren't available. A lot of the
Yep.
cool things weren't invented. The companies that we consider some of the top in the industry weren't even founded. Some of the
Yep.
people weren't even born yet who are running the companies that are today.
Simon Hurley.
Exactly. So I think it's really an exciting time and an exciting industry to talk about. And it really just fuels the community that we all feel, that we all love, that we all cherish in being a part of this stamping industry that we all participate in. So let's start at the year 2000, because that was a formidable time in the industry. Scrapbooking was really on the rise. There
Yep.
were 6,000 independent stores that Hero Art sold to across the US alone.
It's
This was
crazy.
a really a heyday of crafting and stamping, paper crafting particularly. And yet there was uh, not that much crossover. Like a lot of scrapbookers didn't really like stamping. There was some belief that stamps were messy and would bleed through your scrapbook pages and weren't appropriate. And luckily for Hero Arts, and I think all people who enjoy stamping, Jennifer kind of was able to dispel that myth in the coming years, and really the industries came together. There
Yep.
was another major force, and that is that e-commerce was starting to rise. Amazon was founded in 1995 and started offering things other than books right around 2000. And so this was a time when independent stores were starting to see competition if they didn't carry scrapbooking from the scrapbooking industry or, of course, from e-commerce. So it was really quite a innovative but also a changing time. Where were you going to find your craft supplies? Where were you going to find the community? And another push was companies like Hero Arts, we were starting to get pressure from independents saying, don't sell to websites. Don't sell to Joann stores. Don't sell to the key accounts. You're undercutting our business. And so it was a very interesting time to navigate from a business perspective of how best to keep your customers satisfied and happy. And under this guise of the industry, there was an entrepreneur who decided to jump into this industry, start a store and a website. And that entrepreneur is the pioneer Heidi Crowl from Simon Says Stamp, who is joining us tonight.
There she is.
Surprise! Happy birthday, Hero Arts. 50 years is a huge accomplishment. Well done.
Yeah.
Well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it makes me feel very old and very proud at the same time. And I really appreciate that. And it's been wonderful to know you all these years, Heidi, and to really see your business grow up. You know what's so funny is that, and we want to get to your history of how you even got into starting a store, starting a website. But in our books, in our database, you still are listed as the Happy Crafter, which was your, which was the store name that you started
LLC.
with.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Happy Crafter LLC. All of our legal documents are under the Happy Crafter.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And
So
not as many people who weren't around that long know that, but I think that's an interesting thing. So tell us, we'd love to hear your backstory. This is such a wonderful story, and I want to hear it. And everybody is giving you a lot of accolades in the comments. Heidi is the best. I've seen at least 10 times, and absolutely true. I echo the same. So tell us, what's your history? How did you get involved in stamping and decide to even file for an LLC in the early days of your business?
Well, I appreciate that people are interested, because when people aren't interested, it's a lonely place when people aren't interested. I guess I'll skip a little bit different. I'll start in the 1900s, as my kids say, because I was actually on eBay in the 1900s selling my college textbooks. And so I had a name on eBay, Heidi Lee. My middle name is Lee. And I would sell my used textbooks, and that's how I paid my bills for when you're a poor college student. So I had that eBay handle, Heidi Lee, and I don't know, it was the late 1900s. And then I got hooked on stamping. Well, also in the 1900s, my mom is a gardener and she is also a sewer. So I would say that my mom is very crafty. And so she would take me to those sewing stores when I was a kid, and I would play in the little foam and those you guys remember those pom-pom balls? I mean, I guess people are making their own pom-pom balls now. Pipe cleaners, googly eyes. I loved those things. Play-Doh, clay. So I always loved those things. So my sister had went to a Stampin' Up! Party. So thank you to my sister, Christy. And she invited me. Well, she called me in the middle of the night. She had just had a baby. This was early 2000s. I want to say 2001, but that was so long ago. I'd have to check on that. Heidi, is everything okay? I knew she had just had a baby. She's like, I went to a stamping party. A what? A stamping party. What on earth is a stamping party? And she went, and I know, Erin, your background is connected with Stampin' Up! I think you might have been making their stamps, maybe not in the early 2000s, but at one time. Were you making their stamps in the early 2000s?
No, we were done about mid-90s, but yes, we made their stamps starting in the 80s, and so all Stampin' Up! Stamps, or a lot of them, were made by Hero Arts.
That's crazy.
So she said, and I'm going to have a party and you're going to come. And I said, okay. I mean, Jennifer knows me long enough, and sign me up. I'll go anywhere. So she did end up having a stamping party, and it was a Stampin' Up! Party. And I got hooked right away. So I was just out of college. I was working as a food broker here in Columbus, Ohio. And, I didn't have money to buy a new stamp set when I wanted a new stamp set. So what I would do is I would sell my used stamp set on eBay in order to buy something new. And
Right.
Stampin' Up! Stamp sets held their value. I could often, if I bought it for $19.99, I could often sell it for $19.99, which is a pretty cool thing that Stampin' Up! Had such good quality and such great designs. And then, I feel like I'm talking a long time.
No, this is what we want to hear. No, this is good.
Okay. So then, you guys, I know that Jennifer and I've talked about this for full set syndrome. So then, Stampin' Up! Back in the day had probably 30 different colors of grosgrain ribbon and probably 20 different colors of eyelets. And you would get one pack of 800 eyelets, and I didn't need 800, but I wanted every color. So I bought all the colors of eyelets, and I would divide them with a little butter knife on my kitchen table, and I would take 10 of each for myself, and then I would make little sampler packs to sell on eBay because I needed to get supplies. So I was, selling. I'm hooked. I'm still hooked. 20 some years later, I'm still hooked. So then I did the same thing with the grosgrain ribbon. I'd spread it across the whole house, the whole row, sometimes onto my back porch. And I would just trim all the colors at once and make those full set syndrome, the full sets of the ribbon in order so that I could get more supplies. And It really started with, being a crafter, knowing what I wanted. And luckily for me, a lot of other people wanted the same things. And then, I could go on and on and on, but that was really the beginning. And I worked out of my home until, till right before my son was born. I think probably 2005, 2006 is when, I would have friends come over to my house and we'd all go in the basement and pick and pack orders. There'd be 2 or 3 of us at a time. And that's the funny thing is I think my neighbors were like, who is this woman that has these other women coming over at night, going in her basement? What are they doing? But we were picking orders for stamping. So then when my kids were really young, it became necessary to move the business out of the house. And then we were in one warehouse, and now we've been in this warehouse since my daughter was born 13 years ago. So we moved into this warehouse in 2011. And it's these great people. And I have to give accolades. Reed is here today. It's these great people that I have gotten so lucky. Thank you, Reed, and Jennifer, and Aaron, and all these wonderful people along the way that I've gotten to connect with that really keep that spark and energy alive for creating. So thank you to Hero. Hero Arts was one of the first brands that was not Stampin' Up! That I began selling. I got my LLC so that I could get my business license so that I could sell their brands, because Stampin' Up's business model back then, I don't know exactly their business model now, but back then they really wanted you to have a home party. And so I had exhausted my home parties. I was in Columbus, Ohio and doing the kitting and the stamping. And I really wanted to stretch beyond. And I would go to Hobby Lobby and see all these beautiful house mouse stamps and these beautiful Hero Art stamps. And I wanted to be part of that too. So our first warehouse, we had a tiny little shop. We didn't have many customers because I didn't really know how to acquire customers in a brick and mortar back then. But we got online, and back then people were afraid to give their credit cards online. I would go to the trade shows that you're talking about, Aaron, in the early 2000s, and a lot of vendors, I'm grateful that Aaron would talk to me, because a lot of vendors, if they saw internet retailer, which is what they would put, it was almost like a scarlet letter on our badges at the trade shows. They didn't want to talk to me because I was on the internet. So, a lot of people along the way gave me and our Simon people a chance. We got really smart. I think it was probably our third trade show that Tara and I were there, and we brought whiteout, that we actually put little whiteout over the internet retailer. So at least people would talk to us.
Yes. I remember.
So things have changed quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, a few things that I find so interesting about that story is, first of all, our parents, our moms could have met. Maybe they did, doing those very same things. My mom was very crafty and would drag me to all the craft stores. Probably a couple decades apart though, because I'm older. But the reality is that I had a mom just like that. So your mom and our mom and my mom would have, I'm sure, been good friends. Second, I do find that so interesting remembering back to those early days, which is why I did that intro at the beginning, because 2000 is a very different world than what we have today. Mm-hmm. There just wasn't the same e-commerce presence at all. I mean, you would not be looking for your supplies online for the most part. You'd be going to a store, mainly because they would have community and they would have classes, and you would find all the people that you knew in your locality. But here's the difference. Today, not that many people across the U.S. have a great store that they love right next to them. There are wonderful independents out there who are still there, but there were 6,000 in 2000 that sold Hero Arts products, and today there's maybe 400 or 500. And that's not because they don't buy from us anymore. It's because they've simply gone out of business. But today, can you imagine a company without a website, without that presence online? And it's a different world. Second is that whole thing about I don't know why they segmented you, Heidi. I always thought that, which is why I was so happy to speak with you, because I was like, why are you being treated like a leper? Like, it didn't make any sense to me that all the internet stores, the web stores, were somehow sequestered in a different place, or had to be spoken to differently, as if they were some threat to our industry. It was the unknown at that point.
Yeah.
And e-commerce really hadn't grown up. Credit cards were unsafe. People didn't want to share their private information. People still today have that concern, of course. But back then it was exaggerated even further because it was just so unknown and new. So, yeah, I remember those days, and I still think that, sorry, I have allergies today, given it's pollen season here. But I still think through that period and kind of chuckle, and the good thing is that we met that way, Heidi, you and I, because I was like, yeah, come over here. I want to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's those kinds of things that force us to change, and change is a good thing. They force us to evolve. And I'm not convinced that all the people that had brick and mortars are just out of business. I think they're probably doing other things, like maybe some e-commerce, maybe some Etsy. Etsy's huge. Maybe some eBay, maybe online, a lot of online things, especially during COVID. I think people became less scared to do online, which really forced us. So it's like out of tragedy comes, and COVID, I would say, is tragedy, but sometimes often out of hardship comes good change. You talked about the happy crafter, and that was a change too, because when I was a 20-something-year-old, and I'm not quite 50, so I can't attest to that. Jennifer, you're not quite 50 yet either, are you?
No, we're the same age.
We have a lot. Jennifer and I have a ton in common. We're not just in Ohio. We're also the same age. Our daughters are exactly 1 year apart. Our sons are probably 1 or 2 years apart.
Yep.
But the happy crafter was an evolution of, I didn't know when I was naming a business what to name a business. I was happy, and I loved to craft. I was happy when I was crafting. So I did my LLC as Happy Crafter, which is still what we are today. But when I tried to design a website, I kept coming up with these images for the website logo, and it just looked really weird to have a happy person. I just couldn't get it to tie together. So I had a Boston Terrier named Simon. And so a friend of mine suggested, and I named Simon off of that cartoon, Simon Says the Drawings, the British cartoon. You can YouTube it, but hello, my name is Simon, and I love to do drawings. So I named my dog Simon after that cartoon. I'm not a singer. And so a friend said, well, why don't you use Simon, in your logo? Simon Says. And so, it's, again, the people you talk to and the people you meet along the way that help us grow and change and develop. And so that's why my website, I could easily brand and logo Simon, even though the Happy Crafter, I just kept that LLC. So that's why Aaron brought up in the beginning how you still see the Happy Crafter, and that is how all of our legal documents. We've trademarked Stamptember, so we've trademarked Dicember, and along the way, our branding, we've done the appropriate legal. I work with my brother. Jennifer and I have that in common. Yep. Mike, we know you're in the background there, Mike.
Yeah, I'm here.
Mike's
Kevin
great.
here?
My brother is great. Pardon?
Is your brother here?
My brother is not. He's not right here. He was here earlier. He's not physically in the building. He has his daughters on this very hot night at the pool. He has a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old. So he's very busy with his kids' activities this time of night. But Aaron, your brother even worked with you didn't Ty work at Hero Arts for a while too?
Yeah, still does. Ty actually is our web engineer, our systems manager. And so he helps me in the background too. So we all have that in common. And that's something that this industry is so wonderful, why we kind of have these connections. It's community, it's family oriented. We do it for therapy, we do it for with friends, we do it to give. And truly there is a real family feeling to this industry. And this is a rare thing. Like we've had this string throughout our Hanging with Hero that people do things with their family, they create with their family, they craft to give to family and friends, and all of us, the three of us, all of our businesses, we have, it sounds like our brother and other family members involved. So yeah, that's cool. Going back to, Stampin' Up, the reference to Stampin' Up, or I mentioned Joann stores early on. I think that sometimes in this industry, some people get a bad name, like maybe Joann stores. Maybe they killed the independent is what people were thinking back in the early days. And yet how many times have we heard that somebody's first stamp came from either Hobby Lobby or Joann? So they really seed the industry in a positive way. Stampin' Up, they really were the home party. I mean, they came right into your living room, right? Yep. So they're, maybe they have closed systems. Some people absolutely love it. Some people don't. What a wonderful thing to help us expand our horizons, expand the customer base of crafting, and really bring stamping to so many different people. So I think those stories are wonderful, and I always applaud kind of every way. You do you is what Tim Holt said on our first episode with him, and I agree with that in stamping as well. So Heidi, you really were an entrepreneur. I mean, hearing the comments, people were impressed with your eyelet story, because that's brilliant. That's smarter than what Stampin' Up came up with, right? A variety pack. So how did you, being this entrepreneur, before you even started the Happy Crafter, really serve you well as kind of you moved out into a proper building instead of your home and started kind of developing the different directions and markets that you wanted to pursue?
Well, I think that just goes back to my background. I grew up in a family where my father was and still is an entrepreneur, and I did a lot of work with him as I was saving my pennies to buy stickers, literally scratch and sniff stickers when I was like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and I would help in his business in the mail room, or I would put price stickers on things. He had a food distribution and still is involved in the grocery business. And so I think that by being so close to somebody who was entrepreneurial, it made me less, I had no fear. I wasn't, he would always say, you just throw enough on the wall. He would use a word, throw enough on the wall and something will stick. Just keep trying. There's nothing wrong with keeping throwing, trying. And I think it's that spirit that just has always been in me. And my mom would always remind me, just find something you love to do. And she went to school to be a teacher. And then when she had children, she stayed home and with us. And she would always encourage us, just find something you like to do, you love to do. You'll never work a day in your life if you find something you love to do. And so I really think that impact, I'm grateful because I didn't teach myself those things. My parents really taught me that at a very young age, and it made me really fearless. I'm not afraid to try to do things. Now my brother has the same parents. I am a risk taker, and he is not. And I think that's why we work so well together. Yeah. Because sometimes I'll have this like crazy idea, and he is one of the only people that can like reel me in and tell me the truth without, and he says it in a gentle way most of the time. And contrary also to him, I'm like, come on, Kev, live a little. His daughter had a birthday party when she was 2, and it was her nap time, and people were coming in from out of town, and he wanted her to take her nap. I'm like, Kevin, live a little. It's her birthday. Let's fire up. She could miss her nap today, So it's that variety is the spice of life, the good blend.
Sure. Yeah.
What were we talking about again? Because I could go on and on and on forever.
About being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Your entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just not afraid to take chances, and I am not afraid of failure at all. I keep telling my son, it's a little harder now that he's a little older, but years ago, I don't remember where I read it or saw it, but it stuck with me. And it was, you should celebrate the failures, and maybe don't even use the word failure, because failures are learning opportunities. And so I really have tried to teach my kids that too, that when you do something and it doesn't work, you oftentimes learn as much as if you would have learned if it would have worked. You learn how not to do something. You really take a critical eye. I'm not that creative with stamping, but I'm a really creative thinker about problem solving. And so I get to use that problem solving. And then I watch Jennifer's videos, and she makes a card, and I can copy the card or the ideas or learn from the ideas really well. I've used the word copy isn't really a good word to say, but I can imitate, what she's teaching me really well. But I do really creatively think. And I think that in a business, you guys can attest to this too, because both of you guys are entrepreneurs. Don't you go having this conversation with me acting like I'm the entrepreneur in the room. You guys are entrepreneurs too. So, you got to have a little bit of confidence and not be afraid to make mistakes, because mistakes are just really the best learning opportunities. And I hope people in the chat, I'm looking at the chat for the first time now, so my eyes are diverting. I hate to divert. I mean, I hope I can get some, don't be afraid, encourage each other. It's the same way with card making. Just make it. Don't worry if your die is cockeyed. It doesn't matter. Just make it. If your colors don't blend well this time, keep trying. Blend them differently. It's the process of doing that making that is so much fun and so rewarding. And then next time you'll know, don't put those two colors together. They make a mud color, and maybe you don't want mud on your balloons. So you learn and you take that with you, and you try it again. That's what I love about Tim Holt's Compartmental. He does these lives on most Saturdays, and he talks about compartmental making, where you just make and you get to play and experiment, and then you hold those backgrounds or whatever you made for later, for your projects for later. And it's really like a playtime where you get to compartmentally make. Maybe that's not exactly what compartmental making means. He'll probably give a better definition, but sometimes that's how I perceive it. Taking small bites of experiments and then putting them together later. There's so many ways to do it, but it is a really great community. I love seeing all this chat. Oh my gosh, I see Sherry's in the chat. Sherry Carroll.
Hi,
I met Sherry Carroll through you guys.
Yeah.
Sherry is amazing, as you guys know. Speaking of color, Sherry's a color guru. Just today, we were texting back and forth because she's working on our brand logoing for Stamptember. We've got a slider for our website, and she's dropping a shadow to make a color stand out. And I'm like, I just love working with people that are so good at their craft. So,
yeah. And Sherry
great.
Carroll worked for Hero Arts for many years.
20 years or something? Yeah.
Yeah, started when she was actually pregnant with her first child. I remember that anchors the dates. That's the way she would always remember it, and she worked for us for many years. Sherry Carroll, actually, during her time at Hero Arts, is credited with creating the idea of color layering, which is obviously a big technique in the industry. It has evolved over the years, but that is originated from Sherry Carroll. Yes, wonderful to kind of work with her for 20 years, and now she works at Simon, which is a kind of wonderful evolution and connection for us. Somebody told me, just like you, Heidi, that mistakes are the acorns, and trying until you get it right is the oak tree, which I just love that concept, right? Because it's like, so you make mistakes, but then if you keep trying, you keep refining, you keep, trying a different direction, turn it around and try again, you eventually get the idea to blossom, bloom, and grow. And so it's that same entrepreneurial spirit, I think, that drives you, is what it sounds like. And I really feel kinship with you in that place, because I'm that same way. I'm like, what about this crazy idea? And luckily, I also have people who rein me in, Jennifer being one of them. But Jennifer and I have created things over the years too.
Yeah.
And which we've said on this. For example, clear stamps, 2005. Jennifer and I were looking at them and we were like, nah, these aren't going to go anywhere. But you can be wrong. Isn't that wonderful? You can
all
be
the time.
wrong.
All
you
the
can
time.
change your direction.
I'd be curious. I don't know if it's politically correct for me to ask this, but I mean, you can give it whatever kind of answer you want. But I mean, is there something that was a mistake at the time that you thought was a mistake? Anything that was really just an incredible learning opportunity for you? Because I think that'd be a good story for us all to hear about, either one of you.
Yeah.
Is that too hard of a question for a Wednesday night?
I have to think about it. There've been a lot because, you know, a lot with especially when you're in a creative industry, a lot of it is just, like you said, seeing what will stick. So trying different things. The mistakes I've made in the past is I'm like you. I have too many ideas and trouble reining them in, and so I'll start something but not be able to follow through because I don't have the time or whatever. So I make a lot of mistakes like that, you know. But you know, you do the best you can, and you just keep trying. And I wish you could all see Heidi creating. There is nothing like watching Heidi create. So we will get together sometimes with a bunch of people, and we're all supposed to be crafting. You know, we get together craft, but we don't really. But Heidi can sit there and craft, and it is like, it is, you've never seen joy like this. Like her table will be covered with stuff, and she's just trying all these things, and it is such joy to watch. And it's kind of like you talk about, you just trying lots of different things, seeing what you like. And you'll have an art journal, or you were making a bunch of cards for something. It is, the joy that comes out of you is wonderful. And it's the same way you run your business, that joy and just trying everything and getting really excited about it. And I think it's neat to see that side of you too. I wish everybody could be a fly on the wall when Heidi's creating. It's fun to see.
Oh man, I think a lot of the people in our audience can understand that feeling.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we get to all be here. It's that, like, you get this like energy, this lightning, you're making something, and it really, I don't know how, there's going to be a word for it someday. I mean, joy is a word, but I feel like joy applies to so many other things. It's like creative spark. I don't even know if that's really the word, but it does. I think that's what this audience is here for too. They understand that great feeling of making. And then Jennifer is so good at this, better than anybody I know. And I don't care if you have somebody help take them to the mailbox for you. You're still making, I know that you make tons of cards. You are so good at actually sending them. And that is a whole nother level. I talk about it all the time. That is a whole nother level of joy when you actually get the process of making it that you love. You get the process of connecting with humans. And now so many of us are connecting on Instagram or texting. It's even more special for us to get something handmade. And Jennifer is so good at actually sending those handmade cards. And when you receive that, it's a whole nother, I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again for the last 20 years, but it really is special when that person opens it and they feel connected to you, and they feel like you care, and you're celebrating something with them, or you're empathizing with them for a loss, or you're reminding them of their birthday, which older we get is a funny thing, because we celebrate age and make fun of our gray hair. But you know, when we were 16, we celebrated our driver's license. Anyhow, Jennifer is so good at following through and sharing those. And I hope people in our audience can take that messaging with them when they leave today, is just remember the joy you feel while you're creating, and remember the joy that you feel when you send that to somebody. And there's a whole nother joy that when somebody else receives that handmade piece, that the recipient gets to feel that connection, because that human connection is so important and special in our world.
I think that's why a lot of people call this, crafty therapy, because I think that there is really a therapeutic aspect of all this. And it's all three. I think you said it wonderfully, Heidi. It's all three of those things. It's that spark in yourself, that tactile aspect of it, finishing your project that you kind of conceptualized, and then finally giving it to someone who then has their experience with it, receiving it, and enjoying that piece. So it is really a wonderful process. And let me just say, all of you in the comments, this is the community that is so rare. To have 1,200 people join us on this live, on a Wednesday evening is such a wonderful tribute to this crafting industry that we all contribute to every day. Jennifer, Heidi, and I, we have businesses, and you see those, but all of you really are the heart and soul of what the industry is. And I see people are from all over the U.S. Just quickly, I saw Tennessee, New Jersey, Wyoming, Ohio. I saw somebody post from Costa Rica and London. So it's that must be really late. It's wonderful to see all of you, and thank you for joining us. We do have giveaways that'll come up right around the top of the hour, so be sure to stay here when you're here. We have a spectacular giveaway that I'm not going to reveal yet, but it is coming soon. And we also have a promo, a flash sale on Hero Arts, which I will also talk about right around the top of the hour. So again, thank you for joining us. And keep the questions coming. If you guys have questions for us, please. We'd love, I'm seeing more people, Michigan, Mississippi, Illinois. So yeah, just keep it going. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can. So Heidi, one of the things that we just talked about, community. We need new community. Obviously, times have changed over the years. Scrapbooking has changed. You have Stampin' Up. They have their model. Someone like Joanne Michaels and AC Moore, I've seen people list. That's a very different model. Doesn't really have the same support, for example, that you might get in an independent store. Heidi has built beautiful community on her website through, blog posts, through Instagram, and specifically, I'd love to hear from you, your programs that you do. You mentioned already Stamptember, which is coming up, Dicember, Create. I'd love to hear how you, specifically those three, how you really come up, and any others that you want to talk to, how those have kind of, fed into your business model and how you've looked to foster community and really create that excitement.
So Create is really just me having quiet time thinking about how would I build, for me, my perfect experience as a crafter.
Nice.
So I've always loved going to Jennifer's classes in person back in the day when she was teaching more in person and there wasn't so much online. Those were such special times for me. And I wanted to create something like that I would want to go to, because I apparently want a lot of the same things that people in our community want.
Yeah.
So imagine Create. If people here, if anybody in the chat has been to Create, why don't you put a star or a heart? Because I'm curious to know how many people here have been to Create. Oh, I see. Good. I see some. Because I built Create, and Reed also, who's here today, is a huge part of making that dream happen. Because it really is, in my head, a dream of all these brands, and thank you to Erin, because your brand has always supported Create as well. Come and do Create and Takes, play on words, make and take, create and take.
Yeah, nice.
They host. So last year, I think we had 35 booths where crafters just sat down and everything was all kitted out, ready for them. They just got to make, they just got to create and take it with them, make cards, a lot of tags. Yes,
and
Jennifer?
you don't have to clean up. It's the best part.
You don't have to clean up. You don't have to set
Just
up.
get up and walk away.
Yeah,
It's great.
Nice.
The brands design the cards. There's one project on a Friday and a different project from the same brand on a Saturday, so that people that go for the weekend can have something different each day. Although I don't think anybody made it through all the booths this year. I think this is the first year we didn't have a single person, and that's okay. We want something for everyone. And because they had so much fun just taking their time and shopping, so people could shop while they were there. So we built Create as an experience. It's only a mile from our warehouse. So if there's products that people want that we weren't able to bring there, because we do bring a lot of products to Create.
Yes.
But I think we have about 40,000 different SKUs in our warehouse right now. We could not bring that many SKUs to Create, but we can deliver it. So we've got a whole team of people here who deliver things to Create. And it's just meant to be a special occasion. We had people who met their friends that were internet friends, and then they meet for the first time at Create and they make together. We have mothers and daughters who live in separate parts of the country, and they meet at Create and they make together. Being immersed in that energy and hearing the stories, and then the infectious laughter and energy and enthusiasm. I mean, there is nothing like it. And Reed, Reed's part of the committee. I mean, he's sitting here. You guys can't see him on camera. I'm sorry, because I get to look right at him. But he's such an important part of making that happen too. and feels that energy and realizes how important it is for us to keep doing Create. Because it's a lot to put on a show like that. We had thousands of people come and attend, and we also are hosting brands and our own Simon team that flies in from out, including Sherry Carroll, that fly in from out of state. So it's a lot of work for people who are already working in a business every day, trying to also get their business work done. But it's so rewarding. It's so much fun.
Sure.
It's just, so that's Create.
And the best part, what I like most about Create is, when are you able to be in a room with so many people who get you? Like that doesn't happen. I'm used to going to kids, meetings, PTO. Nobody gets what I do. They just think it's kind of silly. They give you this look. But when you walk into Create, it's like you don't even have to say anything. You just automatically click, and it's fascinating to me. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go alone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's a destination. It's Columbus, Ohio in April. Is it always in April? It's always in April, right?
Oh, I don't know, Aaron, if we've known each other long enough. There's nothing I do in my life on a regular basis.
Okay.
Sometimes it's October. Sometimes it's April. It
Got
was
it.
May. I think we might have done it in June once. I mean,
it's like me with my lives all over the place.
It was, yes, Columbus, Ohio, and sometime in one of the months of the year. But this year it was in April. And it's a destination. People come from all over the nation. It kind of harkens back to Stampa Barbara, which is one of these destination stores back in the 80s that had, and it's funny that you said 40,000. He used to claim he had between 30 and 60,000 SKUs at any given time, right within that range. This is an independent store that people would come and visit. They'd literally plan their vacations to go to Santa Barbara, which is north of LA, about 4 hours south of San Francisco, just to visit Stampa Barbara. Archivers, they had in the Mall of America, they would have these big events, and people would come from all over the nation to do it. And sadly, the other two are not available anymore for you to visit, but Create is still around and going strong. And I think it was your 12th year. Is your 12th year of Create, or?
I don't think we've done Create 12 times, but we might have been doing it. I think we might have done it 5 or 6 times. And it's different every time. In the early years, we didn't have all that making and taking. We just had class.
Yeah.
I think we've
Everybody's
done
saying they need info in the comments. So we'll.
We don't have another one planned yet. But you can encourage our team all you want, because it's our team that I need to be able to, to put it on. I miss archivers too. We had a great archiver store here in Columbus, Ohio, that was always fun to go and create out. We would do a lot of our employee education there. They were nice. They didn't care. We would rent out their room and buy a lot of products from their stores. We loved it. So
if you want to find out when, like if you don't want to miss if they announce another Create, subscribe to their blog, the Simon Says Stamp blog, and then they talk about it in advance. So there's some warning. I talk a lot to too. So if you or follow on Instagram, it's fun. It's really, it's fun. And I think this year you just nailed it. Like it was spread out, and it was perfection. It was well done. Well done. So much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. We pre-sold tickets, so that helps.
Okay.
So we can control the numbers.
Right. Yep. So watch for it when it's coming. It'll come randomly. So be ready. So you have to sign up for Simon newsletters, watch the blog, be sure to hit Instagram so that you get the scoop when it comes. Okay. So tell me about Stamptember and Dicember.
There's another. You could say almost in a way random, because in Stamptember, the Stamptember thing is more about surprising. I love surprises. So we do more and more collaborations every year. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on live with Aaron from Hero Arts this year. The Hero Art Stamptember collaboration this year is absolutely extraordinary. Love it, love it, love it. So what Stamptember is, We had a little bit. I mean, this is our 15th annual Stamptember. So I think we've been in business Reed, what was our number we celebrated this year? 23, 22?
2002, yes.
So 23
Impressive.
years we've been in business. So we've done Stamptember for 15 years. It's because there was this lull always that September time of year. And I would blame it on and so from a business, I wanted to create some kind of spark and have something, it's a little early for Christmas, maybe for me, maybe not for everybody. Yeah. We're coming off our summer travel, so it's easy to know why there's a lull, but I wanted to create something that kept us interested in stamping. And so Stamptember has evolved through the years. What it is right now is every single day during Stamptember, we try to do something different. We try to keep it exciting and fun for stampers and for makers so that we have something. It's like a party. It's a month-long party. And that's the Golden Bone giveaway we'll talk about later is related to Stamptember. So we do collaborations with some of everybody's favorite vendors. We invite vendors to participate. They illustrate a stamp set and we go to town. We make the stamp set. Well, I don't physically make stamps, but we have our manufacturers here in the United States make the stamps, and we inspire people how to use them. We teach with them. We invite designers from all over the world to use them and to showcase them in different ways. It's a party. Everybody's invited. Everybody can celebrate. The main hub for Stamptember, like Jennifer just said, is our blog, the same as for learning about Create. You go to SimonSaysStampBlog.com, and every day. Now, what we're doing differently this year, Jennifer texted me, and I'm so glad because this was a good reminder, Jennifer. We used to do
best
everyday
news
reveals at midnight.
ever.
It's some people love it, some people may not. I don't know. I'm curious what people are going to think of it. We would do the reveal at midnight Eastern time every day during Stamptember at midnight. There'd either be a reveal or a celebration or a giveaway, something different, and it would be announced at midnight. Well, this year we are going to launch Stamptember at midnight. So at 12:01 a.m. on September 1st is when we're launching. However, at noon every day is when we're going to start revealing the collaborations of the day. So yes,
nice.
At noon every day. So hopefully that helps. So it makes it exciting for people that live all around the world. I've gotten better. I place one order for the products, and once they sell out, they're gone for good. But that keeps it kind of special and fun and exciting too.
Sure.
I think Tim and I were commiserating. There was a stamp set that one of us, we were looking back at some of the Halloween sets that he did for Stamptember many years ago, and we found one on eBay. I think it was $249. So I was like, well, yeah, I guess that's the limited edition part of it. But going back, going back that many years, because we've been doing it for a while. But it keeps it fun and exciting too, because it's special. Those products are only available during Stamptember. There's just a lot of excitement around it. And we go live. We're going to go live a few times. I mean, I will say we're going to go live Sunday to launch. Sunday is September 1st.
Sure.
Reed is our key person for launching, and Reed is only going to be a single man for a few more days because his wedding is next weekend in Stamptember. So we're not going to go live Friday, right?
We are going to go live Friday. Brian is going to fill in for me, so it'll be Brian and Heidi. I will be getting ready, all groomed up. So Friday, September 6th, Brian and Heidi will still be live. I'll be busy.
What time are we going live? I'm going to have to clear my calendar. Okay.
Noon we'll be live.
Reed's in charge.
Yeah, Reed's in charge. Well, he's due. He's getting married. He can, whatever he needs. He's great. So
congratulations,
that's
Reed.
Thanks so much.
That's exciting.
Long overdue. She's wonderful.
That's wonderful. You heard it here first. Reed's getting married.
Much to the dismay of all the women at Create. Everybody loves Reed. Oh, gosh.
I love it.
Yeah, we Reed's a good egg. And then Dicember was something that Jennifer
Wait, hold on. Rewinding to Stamptember, did you, was this one of your ideas that you went to your team and they were like, this is great? Or somebody asked, was it something that you felt you were worried about having to rein in? You talk about these big ideas. Or was it something everybody was just gung-ho about?
15 years ago when it started, it was just me and Stephanie.
Okay, that's
true.
true.
And Tara, who is here still today, and so is Stephanie, who's still here today. Tara, gosh, she would have had 3 kids at the time. So maybe, I don't remember if Tara's great. She was probably like,
Yeah,
go
she
for
would
it.
be.
I've never,
Yeah, she
she's
would.
never held
Yeah.
anybody back.
Yeah.
Now, what am I even trying to remember that far back? I just know Tara well enough to know she would say go for
Yeah.
it. It was different. I would just post on the blog. We have an old blog, Simon Says Stamp blog spot, and all that stuff is still on there. I would just post something different every day, mostly inspiration or a special feature or product. We didn't start doing the exclusive collaborations until maybe 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't remember anybody pushing back on those ideas. If they did, I apparently didn't listen.
And we're glad you didn't.
Yeah, and just for people who don't know, Heidi asks vendors like Hero Arts to come up with unique designs that really represent our company, and then Heidi features it during the month.
Yep.
And it's a wonderful thing because it's all about community. It really is sharing. In some ways, it is similar to the Stamping Village in that respect. Alt New and Lawn Fawn and Gina K, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all join, have collaborative sets. And it really is a wonderful celebration of using those creatively, promoting them, working together, working with any supplies you want. And I think it's a wonderful tribute of this concept of community, taking your entrepreneurial spirit that you really bring to that and diversifying how we find that community all together. Creates one method, in-store classes is another. Archivers was a great example, those home parties, and blog-based, video-based inspiration like Stamptember is yet another. And it's an innovation. It really is. It's how we can use the different tools of the times to really create that. And it's a tribute to you, Heidi, and your team to continue to innovate. But I will point out that you did say that you don't like things, you kind of are all over the place. Stamptember is always in September. I mean, so you do also have a consistency to your entrepreneurialism as well.
It's a miracle. That's true. It is always in September. Yep.
Somebody also asked.
Shop. So I saw somebody in the comments say that. So that is what we want to be, a one-stop shop. So we include everybody and we do our best to include everybody. I mean, there's some companies if they're not really a stamping company, we try to invite them to something different like Dicember or Create or something. But we do our best to be as inclusive as possible. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by the chat. I see Golden Bone.
No, somebody asked, Heidi, will you say how many collaborators you have this Stamptember? Do you have a guess?
I know it's in the mid-30s. I don't know. It's like 33, 34, or 35. It's right around that because I know we had more than we had days.
We'll have more than one. Yep.
Oh.
Good.
Yeah, we have some double dippers, or I think we even have a triple fest one day. We need to coin terms for those days. Double dipper,
Yes,
I don't know, is great.
Well, some people in the comments are calling Stamptember Broketember.
Aww.
Because we want them all. It's just, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. What I also like about Stamptember is you're getting a good variety of things. So say you're a big Gina K fan. You know that on the day Gina's products go up, you're going to see a ton of inspiration. So even if you aren't able to shop during Stamptember, you're going to see a lot of inspiration based on these different companies' type of designs. So I think for me, my favorite part of Stamptember is seeing so many great ideas come out of it. So even if you're not shopping, just look for the inspiration. There's so much inspiration. Heidi is really generous to a lot of designers to get them these products, and so many things that can just kickstart your creativity. So Stamptember is, I think the inspiration is just outstanding, and the surprises. I love the surprises.
Well, thank you. You're the inspirer and videoer. The videos are great too.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that it goes to, and I'm going to say this phrase just because we've said it in the previous 10 episodes, so I can get it in here. A rising tide lifts all boats. And I think that is such a wonderful analog for our industry of how we all work together. We're all friends. I consider Kelly from Lone Phone, Greg from Concord and Ninth, Nabil from Alt New as friends as well as competitors. We work together. If they do well, then I'm excited to hear about it. Same thing. If there's great excitement in the industry, like Stamptember or Create, it really makes all of us better. There's Heidi and I at I think the Stamping Village. That is a great picture.
And I think, do you have the picture of Heidi and I from a long time ago? See if Heidi remembers this.
Good.
Yeah, we're babies.
That was like when we did that. Kathy Rakusin hosted us in Maryland, and that was the first time I'd ever eaten or seen real live crab like that. Oh my gosh.
It was 2011.
Oh, no wonder my forehead doesn't have all those wrinkles on it.
Look how young we are.
Always look 16.
No.
That was fun. I mean, Kathy Rakusin has showed us a lot of things through the years. Kathy Rack.
Yeah, she's great. She's great.
That's great. That's fun.
So Dicember.
Yeah, so let's hear about Dicember, because in the context of Stamptember, it's such a wonderful, event for the industry. And let me just go back to, that's exactly the way that I think, Heidi, that you said, September's kind of slow. What can I come up with? That's the way we design a lot of our programs as well. I remember in December, as we're getting to December, it was the slowest month. And like, what were we going to do? How were we going to promote Dicember? And we actually came up with something that was for retailers, which is called Shopbox, which is a kind of pre-release of our main catalog that comes out. And so we turned December from our slowest month to our most busy month with one program. And that's what entrepreneurials do in order to try to kind of level out the months to give us the capability to continue to run our business, with cash flow issues being something that we typically don't talk about, but all companies have to look at it. So it's brilliant that you came up with Dicember and Stamptember for those reasons. So I love it. It's a tribute to your entrepreneurialism.
Thank you. I'm trying to remember, Aaron, because I think it was probably right before 2010. Did you ever release your annual catalog? Was it ever October? Or was it always December?
It was always December or early January, but we did used to have a midwinter release. When Sherry Carroll was working for Hero Arts, we would have a holiday release in July for retailers that would come out in August or maybe even the 1st of September for end users. And then we would have a midwinter release, which maybe was gift or tag or project related. And so there was something in October.
Okay. Well, Dicember, speaking of Kathy Rakusin, Jennifer, do you even remember this? I remember we were walking near a Walgreens, and I think it was in Bethesda, maybe it was in Annapolis. And I think we were probably chatting about how fun Stamptember was. And you said, we need something like a Dicember. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I'm not dreaming this, am I?
No. That's what I remember. I remember, and I love die cutting. So I would, I wanted a month dedicated to that. And you're like, hey, we should do that. And then you did it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because I can't get enough die. So I'm all for it.
Me too. I love die cutting too. It's our 11th December. Reed did a fact check. Good job, Reed.
Right.
Did you go downstairs and look at the... Stephanie texted you? Yeah.
All right.
So
thank you, Stephanie.
Apparently that was 12-ish years ago, Jennifer, because we trademarked it and did all that. And dies are great. I mean, is there anybody in our audience? This is another part where I'd love for those people who we're live chatting with today. It's such a luxury to have live chat. Does anybody here not cut a die cut before? Has anybody here not used a die? My chat is frozen. Oh, so I got to look down here. Okay. Betsy Green, dies are the best. Yes, Betsy's pretty amazing. She was at Stamp Away.
She's in Ohio.
She's great.
Yeah. She's one. Did we meet her through you, Jennifer? Betsy?
Yeah, we do
She's
Pilates
great.
together on Wednesdays.
Oh, really?
We were tortured earlier today, yes.
Nice.
She's
fun.
a graphic designer, and she's really, really talented.
She is. Good job so much. I see a lot of people that are saying, yes, they love dies, but I'm yet to see anybody who hasn't die cut. Well, that's good, because Dies are a great way to enhance your card making and your making and all of your crafting. So
Yep.
that's pretty.
Right.
I think we even have a picture of, what are the pictures that we gave them? I don't remember now.
Well, there's you and Simon.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's a cute one. That was back in the 2001, I think that was.
Aw, that's such a
Yeah.
great picture.
Simon.
If you want to keep talking about community, you could show the one from Stamp Away.
Oh, Stamp Away. That is Betsy Green. That triggered Stamp Away.
Yep.
So this is a fun picture. So my son is on the far left. He's in the green pants. He, for years, since he was a little boy, used to help us at Stamp Away. This is a picture in Cincinnati. And always such a pleasure to get to work with our Simon family. Reed is in this picture right behind my son. That's me in the pajama pants next to the Grinch. Brian is in our Grinch costume. He's freaking hilarious. And that Grinch costume is scary realistic when you get up close to their face. It's crazy. Who else? It's Lauren is in that picture. I know Aaron knows Lauren really well. Who is that behind the Grinch? I can't.
Kathleen.
Kathleen got married and moved to Toledo. We miss Kathleen. Amanda, she's in that picture, and Christina's in the little elf costume. That's a great. So Stamp Away is an in-person event in Cincinnati every year. And that's where we have a booth and often do a crate and take or a make and take, and so do a lot of the other people too. Sometimes I see Jennifer there, but it's a mob scene when Jennifer goes to those events.
Well, we go to the lake every year at that time, so I haven't gone in a few years.
That's first week of August every year.
First week of August, yep. First Friday and Saturday. So that Stamp Away is a great event if you're in the Midwest. And people come from all over. People drive from New Jersey and Florida. And that Stamp Away is great. And then you guys all know this fella. Oh my goodness.
Who's that?
Yeah, right? He's great. Tim's been such a mentor, such a enthusiastic friend, such a loyal person. He has impacted and continues to impact our industry in such a positive way. I'm glad you guys, if anybody in this audience hasn't watched previous Hanging with Heroes, that's probably a great one to watch first, is the one that Aaron and Jennifer did with Tim. He gives quite a history of his background, which I thought was really fascinating to listen to. He's a good egg. Aww. So this is, you guys have heard me talk about Stephanie. Stephanie was our very first Simon Says Stamp full-time employee when I started, getting, benefits and getting the real business together. And that's her holding a baby. It's not her baby. She's holding Sarah, who's on the other side. We are in the hospital visiting. And I just thought this was symbolic because, even our teammates here at Simon, and even, how Jennifer and I think I remember when Lila was born, you were pregnant with Lila.
Yep.
Like, we all celebrate each other's emotional times too, and it brings us so much closer together. So this is a good, we all went to visit Sarah. I don't know if she wanted us to come visit her an hour after her baby was born, but hot dog, we did. We made it and saw her. But no, it's a lovely bond to be able to work with people that you like and trust. So, and that's Sarah's little baby, who now is just started kindergarten this week. So
Wow.
Time flies.
And anybody who's been to Create knows how great the Simon people are. And they are just fiercely loyal to Heidi, and Heidi is fiercely loyal to them. They've been around, like you see Stephanie and Sarah, a lot of these people have been around with the company for a long time. And it's working with them. I work with them a little bit with what I do, and I'm always amazed. Always amazed. Such a good team that you've put together. Good people. And several more in the chat too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What a wonderful segue into. Let me just take a pause. Yes, we want to thank everyone. It's always such a wonderful time to reward and kind of communicate with everybody on the chat. Be all a part of a feed like this, of a live event. So thank you all again for joining. We have giveaways like we always do. Hero Arts is 50 years. And so every time we do this, we do a giveaway of $50 gift certificate for our website. And you get $25 that you can give away to a friend. So there's two of those winners. We have Ranger has sponsored us this whole time, and they have a $50 gift certificate to their website. And the drum roll, please. We have a special giveaway from Simon tonight from Heidi, and she's going to explain what it is. The Golden Bone.
So the Golden Bone is Stamptember. We've only done this during Stamptember before, but since you guys were so gracious and invited us to be your guest, thank you. We thought we would let the dog out of the kennel a little early this year. A Golden Bone at Simon Says Stamp is something we normally only do during Stamptember, but today we're going to do it special. And Reed has 4 Golden Bones this year. This is the 5th. And he randomly puts them in orders in the warehouse. And there's instructions on the Golden Bone, what that means. And somebody today is going to get the Golden Bone. And what that means is every single release that Simon Says Stamp has for a full year, we will mail you as an assortment of products from every single release. And I think we're at a point now we do them almost every month. So all you do when you get somebody today is going to win this Golden Bone, and then you don't have to do anything. We just will automatically mail you a package every time we release products. And it's fun because the people who get those Golden Bones years later are like, oh, I won it 3 years ago, or I won it 4 years ago. And it's really exciting. So thank you to everybody who's watching us live today, because all these people watching live have had this opportunity to win the Golden Bone. And thank you to Aaron and to Jennifer for inviting us to be your guests at Hanging with Hero, because, hey, man, this is fun. So
this is so
awesome.
fun.
So generous.
Wow. It is
so
really
generous.
And that's exciting. So starting maybe October is the release that they'll get?
Yep,
right? So
starting with the October release.
Woo!
Good clarification,
Wow.
Aaron. Good clarification.
That's amazing.
That's wonderful. So without further ado, we have a drum roll for the winners. The graphic will come up as soon as Mike's ready. So congratulations to everyone.
Look at that.
We are so excited. Paula Casey, it looks like you are the winner.
Paula Casey.
Golden Bone. So email info@heroarts.com for all 4 of those winners. info@heroarts.com. Email us, and we will route you the right direction and get your rewards set up. Wow. Congratulations, everyone. And thank you to Ranger, who's probably here in the comments, but thank you, too, for sponsoring. Ranger not only sponsored this event, but also since the very beginning, they've given a gift certificate. So thank you, Ranger, also for being a part of this. Wow, so that's really exciting. I think the Golden Bone
Paula
is yet another
is a
reason
lucky
why
lady.
Stamptember is so fun, and Paula's the first one. She gets one of those 5, and so
That's
order
so
all
cool.
month at Simon Says, and you'll get a chance to win your own if you're not Paula tonight, and that's pretty exciting.
Somebody
exciting.
just said,
Thank you.
hey, Paula Casey, will you adopt me? Everybody wants to be friends with Paula.
Yes.
Well, Aaron, I love how you're also giving, what a good idea for you to also give a gift card to the friend of the winner. I mean, hello, clever, genius idea. That's a fun way. Everybody wants to be friends with a winner.
Right, and it kind of is the center of our industry, again, is this community that we've talked about, that you've explained, that you have so intertwined, Heidi, in your story, in your entrepreneurial spirit. Of course, Jennifer, share handmade kindness over the years. I really think that this is the magic of this industry. And I've worked in other industries, and it is not there in the workplace, in the product that you produce, in the things that you give in other industries. This is a very unique corner of the world. And I'm just honored to have both of you as friends, but also have all these wonderful people that we can talk to and interact with every day in the comments. My comments have actually frozen, so I can't call people out, but thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's 1400. We're not done yet, so don't go anywhere. We have a few more questions for you, Heidi, because I do want to hear about...
I thought we were wrapping up.
No, if it's okay, I've been capturing some of the questions that.
Oh, great! I'm glad you're organized. And I see Vicki Donnelly in the chat. I think Vicki she is such a supporter of all of us. Thank you, Vicki.
She is. She's incredible. So, a couple questions.
Yes.
Do you know how many brands you carry at Simon? A couple people asked that. Roughly? No idea.
More than 5?
Ever evolving, I would definitely say over 200, give or take.
A couple hundred?
Wow. That's amazing.
There's a brand section on our website.
And we can go count it.
It gives all the, I've never really counted.
A
I'm
lot,
sorry.
but no, that's
We're always
okay.
open to having more brands.
But yeah, always open. And there's so many new brands that start. There's brands that retire. There's brands that try something new in life. But yeah, we want to be a one-stop shop. So, and if there's a brand we don't have, I hope you guys let us know, because if you want it, that means I want it too.
Yep.
And a few people also asked about the fundraiser. Have you talked about how it went? You know, any updates on that?
I think we need to do a thank you blog post.
Okay.
It went really well. So we do a fundraiser for HDSA the last few years, and we just wrapped up the latest one where brands donate product and we sell boxes. So I'm not trying to advertise for it now. I'm sorry, because those boxes are all sold out. But we sell a $50 box. We sell a box that has at least $100 in contents. And again, Reed is a part of this too. And we sell it for $50, and then 100% of the net proceeds go straight to the Huntington's Disease Society of America. It is a rare illness that's hereditary and eventually often leads to loss of life. So it's my children are each at a 50-50% because their father has Huntington's disease, at risk for it. And so I am just voraciously working towards supporting science. And thank you to all the scientists out there who work so hard, researchers, doctors, neurologists, because a lot of the same things that impact your brain that cause symptoms of Huntington's disease are similar in common illnesses like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So there's a lot of cross research that's done. But last year we raised, I think, about $200,000. The year before, I think we did almost $300,000. I don't know the tally for this year. It was a hot year. We had a lot of great, generous sponsors, and the boxes are sold out. But we should put the results of that. I don't ever give a short answer, Jennifer. So
I know you.
Thank you for that.
I know
this. Get all the ducks in a row. There's just so many things all going on at once, but we're super grateful for the support. Thank you.
That's wonderful. It's inspiring. It's inspiring.
One of the things that
you're tireless about that.
One of the things that you guys have in common is the generosity. You're both unbelievably generous, and I think it's something that a lot of people don't see much of, because there's things you do like fundraisers like the one you just mentioned, but you do a lot of things behind the scenes. You're generous to other companies, you're generous to designers, you're generous to a lot of different causes, and I think that's something that you both I've learned so much from the two of you. And you guys have heard me say, like, I wouldn't be a card maker if it weren't for Hero Arts and for Aaron. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing as a job if it weren't for Heidi. So, and I'm not the only one who feels that way. So I really appreciate your generosity, that you take chances on people, and that you support so many people in this industry. I know I'm speaking for a lot of people and thanking you both for that. So I appreciate it, because I love what I do, and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, not a chance, without the two of you. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. It is truly, and I bet Aaron could echo this. It is truly my pleasure that we get to do this. It's such an opportunity I'm so grateful for, and it's because of the people watching us that make it happen, and even the people who aren't watching us live today that might watch us on rewatch, that we all get to do this, and I'm incredibly grateful. So it's really an honor and a pleasure to get to do this. So
absolutely.
Well, that's one of the things you always say to me. Like, I'll text you and I'll say something about, like, that went really well, or I really love this, and you're like, but I couldn't do it if it weren't for you. You always are reminding me that we've got this nice synergy going between all of us that really helps this industry grow, and it helps us all grow as individuals too. So I'm thanking you on behalf of everybody watching and all the people who do the kind of work that I do. We really are thankful that you make it possible for us to do this.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for saying that. It's a wonderful tribute to the industry, and I know
how do
Heidi,
people do that?
The new kids.
I don't know.
And for Hero Arts, we've always been appreciative of that very thing, and we've always wanted to encourage people. So you can go to our giving site, our giving page, and see that we give with every purchase, many programs during the year that you can help contribute. And I think it's important because we try to encourage so many different charities to also be a part of the giving, the creating, and part of the community. And I think by giving back, you just encourage people to really do the same. And I think that's an important spirit in the process of giving, is that when you ask people to contribute, often they want to, be it giving cards, be it, donating if they feel that they want to. Any part of that, I think, is just so true to the spirit of our industry and our community that really it's an integral part of what we do. So, and Heidi, I think what you guys do, we've given to your boxes over the years, and that is very important to us to be a part of that. So thank you for running that, and it's a real tribute to you and your family that you're able to do that, and you do a wonderful job, just like you do with everything in your business. So I'm very proud of you.
Yes. And I remember when the hurricanes hit the islands, and I had a friend down there. One of the first people I talked to was Heidi, and she's like, let's make this happen. And we raised a ton of money to help those folks out. And we were able to give it to him to actually get into the hands of people who needed it. And, I knew I could count on you guys to help with that. I appreciate that. And I
think people wanted to help. They just needed a ringleader.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or a group of ringleaders.
I think the reason so many people are willing to give, like when there's auctions or different fundraisers, I think the reason people in our industry are so generous is because the heart behind what we do. Like this hobby has such heart behind it, the creating to give. And I think it's just it's natural for people to want to be generous and participate in these things. So I'm glad that you both do so much to make opportunities for us to be able to give back.
Truly, in fact, it's in some ways it's a gift that we're able to do that too. And I think that to help people and to really kind of stand up and draw the forces of the community and the industry around a shared goal. Again, it's a rare place that we live this corner of the world, and I'm just so I just really enjoy going to work every day because of that. So that we're able to affect people's lives, offer therapy every day in stamping, in crafting, and when people are in need, really kind of step up and draw that community towards help in any way people can. So I think it really is so consistent with stamping, it's so consistent with creating, and it's so consistent with giving. And I think that this industry is better for it. Okay, I've got another question that we've asked all the guests, and that's about kind of what you see as the future. Before I do that, though, we have a gift for everyone who's here. We have a flash sale that we always run. When we were in the marketing meeting, I had said 15%, and my marketing team said, oh yeah, 50%, because it's the 50th anniversary. So somehow I got roped into doing a 24-hour 50% off, and this time it's Stamp and Cut, which are things that I really appreciate because it's kind of combined Stamptember and Dicember in one set. It's Stamp and Cut, and it is 24 hours only, so till 5 p.m. tomorrow. So if you like Stamp and Cut, you get 50% off, 2 for 1, basically, in celebration of our 50th anniversary. So thank you, everybody. That is a way that we can thank you for being here and for joining and for sharing all of your comments. Really do appreciate it more than you know. And remember that you can still sign up and subscribe for our September Halloween and that Hero Club. You can visit. It's called Hero Studio, and you can visit our website now and sign up and subscribe by September 1, or come and see launch September 3rd. All right. So one of the themes that we've had here is how do we, and we've done this all the years, Heidi, I know you've done how you build a customer base, but I think the onus is on all of us as an industry to always attract new customers. to always find younger customers, to always find the people maybe who don't know they're crafters inside, and to show them that they in fact are. We talked with Simon Hurley, for example, who's in his early 20s. How do we attract his generation? Or Ralph Tyndall was on. He's a little later 20s, but how do we attract his generation? And this is kind of an exciting place. But what do you see going forward? Like, how do you invest in finding new customers who, again, maybe aren't crafters yet, or maybe you're occasional but don't necessarily shop at Simon yet? How do you kind of do that process of finding new people? And really, how do you see the industry evolving tomorrow and next year in the exciting ways that we've seen change over the last 10?
My answer is simple. I think we just have to keep being ourselves and lead by example. Keep making, keep creating, keep teaching, keep bringing out new product. Focus on be you kind of thing. Do the best we can do as who we are, not trying to imitate somebody else or copy somebody else, but be the best that we can be. And I think that when you lead by example, then often people will follow. And if they don't, if they're not interested in it, then that's okay too. They might not be interested. So young people catch on to that energy. Old people catch on. I mean, I'm old. I'm not age blaming here. So Mom, if you're watching me, I'm not calling you old. Because my mom always watches. Thank you, Mom. But I think that when we are just focus on being the best version of who we are, so my answer is, how do we do it? That's the only way I know how. I'll listen to any other advice too. I'm not an expert, but that's just how I choose to think about it, without putting too much pressure on having to reinvent the wheel. And where do I see the future? I think we are in control of that. We get to make what we want to be our future. So we make choices every day that we're either creating or developing product or hosting a party or an event, or, we get to do what we want to do. And I'm super grateful for that. I hope and pray that continues. So I don't have any magic bullet answer though, Aaron. I'm sorry that I don't.
Well, follow-up question, like my daughter and son are all on TikTok all the time. So what do you think about TikTok as an avenue to reach that 23-year-old, 22-year-old who scrolls TikTok, maybe has 10-second attention span, is what I see from my daughter at least. How do you do you think that's an answer? Do you think TikTok is a way to go? I don't know.
I don't really know much about TikTok. I think that's probably, I'm not a TikToker.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm seasoned to answer that. I don't know about the strategy or even the responses. It's like asking me what I thought about that Chinese paper. I don't speak that language, so I don't necessarily know how to interpret it. So I really love Instagram. I really love Facebook. I really love Pinterest. I really love YouTube. So I understand how to communicate on those, and I can see how people are responding on those because I'm living in those places, but I'm not living on TikTok. So I don't know. Are you watching TikTok, Aaron? I'd be curious about that too. Are there?
I do some kind of behind the scenes videos that our team shares on TikTok. Ralph Tyndall, we talked about this in his episode. He used one of our stamps and did his ASMR, which is kind of the sound and all the details of opening the stamp set and then stamping. And he got like 15 million views. And so that's actually how we found Ralph, because we're like, okay, you're reaching this community. Let's see how we can translate it. And I think it's been wonderful because he says that so many people his age do crave that tactile aspect of things, given they're on their phones so much, and I'm not saying Ralph speaks for all of that generation. I apologize if I'm implying that, but from Ralph's perspective, that's what people really enjoy. And I see that from my daughter. She loves stamping when she breaks away from her phone and does that. And I think that there's some magic to what you're saying, Heidi, is that we control this, right? We can really continue to do things that we do. We can kind of continue to find that community and that creativity and that joy that people love. That's why they come to Stamptember, right? That's why they buy the Hero Arts September Hero Club subscription. That's why they watch Jennifer McGuire videos, is there is a magic there. And I think that the issue is, how can we continue to introduce the younger generations or the non-stampers to those things where they go? And that's the only reason why I asked the TikTok question, because there's a lot of people going there. Instagram to me is the perfect format, and in some ways bridged community, like during COVID, but also even earlier when stores were going out of business and there were just less classes you could go into stores and take. You could find it on Instagram. Or Gina, she was a pioneer on YouTube videos and putting content in. Yeah,
we love Gina.
And that there's so much content there, right? So you didn't have a class, you didn't have a Friday night crop, you didn't have a store near you, maybe it closed, and so you started to look at your website, Heidi, or you looked at Gina's YouTube channel, or you watched Jennifer. You during COVID, you went live with Tim Holtz, and I think that this is a new sense of community that's really grown. And I think it's wonderful creative ways. And again, you do you. All the different ways are beautiful. And I really applaud you, Heidi, for being on the cutting edge and always looking for new directions and new ways to do that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for giving me a chance, Aaron. Thank you. Thanks, both of you, for believing in me. My sister is going to just die laughing that we were talking about TikTok, because she sends me TikTok videos all the time, and I don't even have the app. So I keep telling her to make me laugh. I'm like, Christy, I don't have TikTok. You gotta get TikTok, Heidi. How can you not have TikTok? I'm like, she's gonna get a hoot out of this that we were talking about it. I told you so. She's my big sister.
So Beth is here. She works with Simon. She said,
Beth.
I think we should have crafting content. She said something like, I think we should have crafting content on all of the platforms. And I think that's true, because for so many people, a lot of people, their gateway into stamping was Stampin' Up, but a lot of other people, it was the big chain stores, and a lot of those are closing or not carrying as many stamps. So I think the more we have Simon Hurley and Ralph doing TikTok card making, that's great, because I agree with Beth. I think it's important for us to kind of go try to get new folks in any way we can. I'm doing YouTube. There's people who are really good at sharing on Instagram. I think if we all kind of spread around, we'll draw more people in. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm hoping, because a lot of the gateways into our hobby aren't around like they were. So
yeah. And it's a wonderful ecosystem, because people maybe they see something on TikTok that none of us, even though we have a TikTok channel, it's not very frequented. We're working on it, but and you can watch a bunch of videos of me being pretty goofy, doing tours around around Hero Arts. But a lot of people on TikTok say that they do shop at those chain stores. So then they go to Joanne, and maybe they find a Hero Arts stamp or Tim Holtz or others. And maybe they don't have any support, though. So then they hit YouTube and they see Jennifer, right? And then they see that Jennifer is referring people to Simon to buy. Yep. And that is that ecosystem that is so wonderfully developed, because there is glorious content. It's just how you might find it or how you might want to digest it. YouTube can be long form. TikTok can be short form. They both obviously can be the opposite as well. You can have stories on Instagram. You can have still shots on Instagram. So it's just really kind of that wonderful experience of finding your place and you doing you. And so I think that there is an answer in what you said, Heidi, that the future is bright, and I think that we can control it, and we can also look for new ways to reach people. And maybe TikTok is one of those. And I'm sure there'll be many, many others that we'll face. And as long as I can face them with the two of you, I'm really excited about it.
All right, so with that, you're stuck with us.
All right.
You be you. We can be anything we want to be. My best friend was just telling me over the weekend how her daughter's first grade class now, at the end of the day, she caught the messaging that the teacher was going through with the girls, because it's an all-girls school, and there was I am proud of myself for today, and the kids would repeat back, I am proud of myself for today. And the most impactful thing that brought tears to her eyes was the last thing the teacher said, I can be anything I want to be. And the little first grade girl said, I can be anything I want to be. So
nice.
I just think that's do you.
I want to be Paula Casey and win the Golden Bone. Is that possible?
Sure.
Oh man, see, this is why I can't give philosophical advice. I'm just not.
Yeah.
Thank you guys thank you for having us too, because it was really fun to get to talk to both of you, and it's a special occasion to get to do that. So thank you. And all these people that watch us live, I see Paula Casey.
Yeah.
She's even chatting still.
Yeah.
Look.
She passed out for a brief moment and then came back.
Yes. Well, thank you, Heidi. Thank you to you and Reed and your whole team at Simon. You guys do a wonderful job. You really are an anchor and a pioneer in this industry. And what a wonderful chat we had. We could go on all night, to be honest. It just was wonderful to have you and to talk through your story and kind of all the wonderful things that you've done for the industry, as well as what you're doing today. So be sure to visit in September. And Jennifer, of course, it's always wonderful to co-host with you. Yeah. Thank you, Mike, back there in the background. And
thank you, not so crafty, Mike. Your bike was not hot tonight.
He's celebrating because there's a grand slam on her baseball game. So.
Nice.
Reds?
Impressive.
Or three run.
Okay. Yes.
There he is.
There's Mike. That's the first time I think we've seen
We appreciate
Mike
all your support behind the scenes.
Yeah. So, and thank you, Reed.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was a Hanging with Hero first.
Yeah, Reed's going to come over and say hello before we say goodbye, and you can all wish him good luck on his next phase of married life.
She's always right, Reed. She's always right. Remember that.
Right.
She's a lucky girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Hanging with Hero double first. We saw Not So Crafty Mike and Reed on the same episode. Yeah. That was tons of fun. So, all right. Thank you all for joining us. Keep tuning in to Hanging with Hero. We're on again next Wednesday with Jen Shurkis. We look forward we look forward to having you. Heidi, as always, it's wonderful to see you. And thank you all.
Likewise.
Good night.
Thank you.
Love you
Bye,
guys.
everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.